Able to hear me, we're going to talk about something interesting that we spoke about before in terms of building little reusable components for your user interfaces like this. So this is a dialog to adjust the colors, and maybe this is not a feature that the users want, but it's a feature that exists. So this one changes the background HSL, this one changes the color of the resources, and this one changes the color of the headings. So you can quickly set up some funky colors. Now, what we want to avoid here is duplicating all of the code for these HSV sliders, because there's a bit of code for the HSV sliders. Each one needs all of these callbacks to set it up, and then another callback whenever the slider is changed. So we don't want to have to write that out 9 times for all of the sliders. So let's use a reusable component just for the 3 sliders. So what does it need? It needs the sliders. It needs this title, so we can say what the sliders are for, and then it needs to do something when we actually move the sliders. So for our main dialog box, we've got this class colorizer. That's the whole dialog box. And here we're setting up one of the reusable components for the actual slider. So we've got the main class colorizer in JavaScript, and we've got another class HSL sliders. This is HSL sliders on the right. So here's all the complexity with the different sliders. This is what we don't want to be writing out all the time and wiring up ourselves. And here's the function when any of the sliders is changed, so we get the values from the 3 sliders that are for that color. Now, how do we inject the title? So we can do that in the constructor for HSL sliders. So we want background, resource, or headings. So we just put that as the second argument to the constructor, and then the template in the HSV sliders or HSL sliders puts the title there. Next, we need to figure out where to put the reusable sliders component. That's done in the constructor as well. When you set the object up, you just tell it what div you want it to go in. We've got these 3 divs here: sliders 1, sliders 2, sliders 3. That's where the sliders will go, and that's an intuitive way of deciding where you want your reusable component to go. Then finally, we need different things to happen when each reusable component is actually triggered. So this one needs to set the background, this one needs to change the resources, and this one needs to change the heading. So they need to do different things. Because we've got now an object, we've rolled up all this complexity for the sliders into HSL sliders. This class can't do everything, so we need to inject that control. I think this is dependency injection. It might be inversion of control as well, but it's definitely dependency injection. So we give each HSL sliders its own function, which is called when it's changed. So we can inject that function, and that says what to do when you've got the new HSL value. So we've got set background, set resource, and set heading, and here they are. This one just changes the background color, that changes the color of the resource, and so on. So this seems pretty cool to work with. We can just set up a colorizer. We just do that by doing new colorizer, and it pops up. Then all we have to do to set up our HSL sliders is for each one we put a div to put it in, and we just call our HSL sliders and we define a function. You could put this inline as well. You could just put a function there, and you wouldn't need to call the function and define it somewhere else. And that's fine if your function is only 1 line. If it's a bit longer, usually you have to put it somewhere else. And of course, you could keep on nesting stuff like this. So if you wanted something else inside the HSL sliders, you could use the same approach to do it here. There's a couple of cool tricks here. We've talked about these before. In the constructor, you can get this, but when a function of the object is called because you did a click, this points to the event. So we have this variable self that points to this when this is used for something else, and there we go.